what's up, family? I've been wanting to touch on this for a while. The excuse me, the Central Park Five, which is now the Exonerated Five. You know, I've been wanting to touch on this for some time now. I remember when the incident had happened, and a lot of people thought that the young men were guilty. And then I remember that like Dr. Falani and a lot of people were protesting, and they was having like community meetings because a lot of young black and Latin men was just being picked up, you know, from like all over like East Harlem and various parts of uptown. And then as a young person myself at the time, I began to think like, wow, you know what I'm saying? This may not even be true. Also, I remember a priest had put up the money for one of the young men to be bailed out. If I'm not mistaken, I think it might have been Yusef Salaam, which is now Dr. Yusef Salaam. And it was just really, really interesting. Even before the individual Reyes confessed, we began to believe that, you know, that the young man was framed. You know, we began to like, and it was so sad because we felt like the only thing we was able to do was protest, because by that time the young men had been sentenced already, and you know, they was incarcerated. What basically hurt these parents of the young men and the young men is that a lot of the parents did not know the law. And it's okay, it's okay. I mean, the majority of people don't know the law like that. I mean, you'd be surprised. I mean, the majority of people, I'm talking about hardworking people, I'm talking about college graduates who don't know the law. There are lawyers who graduated from law school. I've come across lawyers who graduated law school and they know very little about criminal law. So when there was potential clients who came to them about even a misdemeanor case, they was just basically taking these clients' money and kind of trying to wing it and kind of learn as they go. It was ridiculous. What had happened was, and I could just tell you from experience, okay, I don't have any police record or anything, but I was in a situation with a dirty cop, and who I myself was falsely arrested, maliciously prosecuted, meaning that the police just want to arrest you to try to get you in trouble. And I know I hadn't done nothing wrong, so I fought and I fought and I fought. I used to argue with my own so-called attorneys because Antron, I understand his pain. Antron states that his father was afraid, his father didn't protect him, his father was afraid. But let me tell you something, and I'm gonna say this to Antron, you'd be surprised how many people who are afraid of the police. There are even lawyers who are afraid of the police. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? There are lawyers who sues the city who are afraid of the police. According to when they see us, Antron's father was a hard-working guy, you know, worked really hard, made a decent salary, but he was afraid of the police. There are lawyers, I'm gonna repeat it, there are lawyers who are afraid of the police. I'm telling you. I've seen people who's marched with Sharpton, Reverend Sharpton, who is afraid of the police. So I understand Antron's pain, but eventually, Antron, this is a message to you as well. When you just accept the fact that your dad was just afraid, you may find room to forgive him. You know what I mean? Because trust me, bruh, he's not alone. I wasn't afraid. You know what I mean? If I was afraid, I would have, you know, when I was in a situation with this particular dirty cop, I would have took all type of deals and everything. I wouldn't take anything. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't take anything. I went to all different types of agencies. I finally found out that I can go to the mayor's office and I can file a complaint with the police corruption unit. Now remember this, it's in the mayor's office. It's called the police corruption unit. And that's when something happened. And I'm talking about New York law because I'm from New York City. I was born and raised in Queens. When I filed a complaint with CCRB, nothing happened. Believe it or not, when I filed a complaint with Internal Affairs, nothing happened. Will you believe that? Internal Affairs? That's a unit who's supposed to police the police. Nothing happened. Not until I filed a complaint with the mayor's corruption unit, that's when things begin to happen. Now, don't worry, I'm gonna school a lot of you on, you know, how to deal with situations that, God forbid, that you could find yourself in. And I'm from New York, so I can only tell you concerning New York law. You know what I'm saying? If you live someplace else, if you live in Houston, if you Texas, if you live in Los Angeles, California, if you live in Detroit, Michigan, Chicago, Illinois, do the research concerning the city and state you live in. So what I'm telling you deals with like New York law. A lot of different departments don't really know what's going on. Like, even though the mayor's office has a police corruption unit, do you think they knew about a guy like me was being harassed and falsely arrested more than once? More than once. This particular dirty cop, I think he arrested me 3 or 4 different times, and I beat every case. Every case was just totally dismissed. It didn't even go to like the trial or nothing. It was dismissed even way before it went to, you know, different steps of, you know, the courtroom. It was dismissed way before that. And I don't have any police record or anything like that. A lot of departments that can do something, they don't even know what's going on. And that's another unfortunate thing. Another unfortunate thing is there are a lot of people who's been wronged by the police, who's been wronged by law, who's been wronged by their job, and they just don't know who to complain to. The mayor's office do not have investigators investigating every arrest that the police makes. And it's unfortunate, but it's true. I fought for justice for years, a good maybe 3-4 years, before someone told me that if you're having any problems, you feel that you're a victim of police corruption, police harassment, malicious prosecution, that I can write to the police corruption unit at the mayor's office. And then when I did, that's when things began to happen. This particular detective, he was suspended. He lost his detective badge for quite a few years. I was able to sue the city. The first time I sued, I was a pro se litigant. That means that I didn't have a lawyer. I sued the city myself. And you know, I got a little bit of money, nowhere near what I should have had. The second lawsuit, I had an attorney, so I got a little bit more money. I mean, you know, by the grace of God. It's about knowledge. It's about knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And you can learn the law. You don't have to be a lawyer. There's 5 areas of law that we all should know. Okay, and I'm gonna tell you those areas. We all should be familiar with criminal law. We all should be somewhat familiar with civil law. These are the areas of laws I want you to become familiar with. We should become familiar with personal injury. We should become familiar with real estate law, just in case you want to buy a house or property, you know, for you and your family, or you plan on getting married in the future or what have you. Or you're already married and you're going to get your first house soon. And especially for New York City, this is important. Landlord-tenant law. Because a large part of New York City, they rent apartments, and ain't nothing wrong with that, especially if it's a nice, decent apartment. Those are the areas of law that we all should be familiar with. I mean, you can look it up online, you can look it up on Google. If you feel that you have decent grasping ability, let's just take a little bit of reading comprehension. It's not hard. You can go to Barnes and Noble's down on 18th Street and get the New York Penal Law book, and you could begin to read and understand the law for yourself. There's also prepaid legal, where for a certain amount of money a month, I don't know, $29, $39 a month or what have you, there's a lawyer at your disposal where you can ask them questions. I know in Uptown, if they're still there, there's the Harlem Defense League. If they're still there, I know they was funded. You can go up, you can call them and they'll answer questions. But even if you're not in a situation, learn the law. No matter whether you got a high school diploma or a college degree, you still need to learn the law. Don't assume because you finished school, you're gonna be all right. You still need to learn the law. You have lawyers who don't even know every aspect of the law. So you still need to learn the law. Let's talk about the case. And let's talk about how police lie. See, a lot of people don't know that the police lie like that. The film, When They See Us, has shed a light on how the police lie. A lot of people think that it's against the law for the police to lie. And there is a law. There's a law that states that filing a false complaint intentionally is a lie. But for unfair and what I believe is a racist reason, that law is not implemented when the police lie. The police will lie. They will make all type of promises. What happened to these young men? They were like 14 and 15 years old. The police told them, look, if you just say this, you can go home. We'll let you go home. Don't you want to go home? I can imagine some of the things the police said to them, because I dealt with the police. I'm certain the police said things like, don't you want to go home and eat a home-cooked meal? Don't you got school tomorrow? Don't you want to see your friends tomorrow? Well, if you say this or that, we'll let you go home. Don't you want to sleep in your own bed tonight? Yeah, this is how the police gets down. Okay, this is how they gets down. And the way they lie, the police was telling these young boys, well, hey, Yusef said that you did it. Raymond said that you did it. So I know you're not gonna have them blame you. So any 14 or 15-year-old, if he's being told that, hey, they're lying on me, so I'm gonna lie on them. Look, if they said I did it, no, they did it. And it was all lies. These boys was framed, the confessions were coerced, all of it. You see, you don't understand. For us, the police lying is wrong. But do you know when the police lie, they pat each other on the back? Did you know that? Good work, officer. Man, you got him to say this or that. I don't know how you did it, but I'm hoping one day I could do that. Even a superior officer may say, "Good work, detective." See, what happened is these young men didn't know how the police lied, that's all. And the parents, they said there was, according to the movie, there was a couple of confessions where their parents was there. The parents didn't know that the police lie like that. And the parents didn't know the law. So that's why these boys were hurt. Excuse me. Let's talk about the trial. After these boys were framed and coerced into making false confessions, these boys, each of them were told that Kevin said you did it, or Yusef said you did it, or Antron said you did it. So then they all started lying on each other because they thought they was being lied on. You understand now? They thought they was being lied on, so they all started lying on each other. And then when they was indicted and went to trial, all the jury had was their taped confessions. Now here's the thing. Science is, you can't really dispute science. Science is undisputable. You can't really dispute science. The only thing that's stronger than science is God. Okay, science, you can't dispute science. During the trial, it was stated by DNA experts that none of the DNA of the boys was found on that woman. I'm gonna tell you a little secret. I know some of you are thinking that, well then, once the jury heard that, the boy's supposed to be found not guilty. No, I'm gonna do you one better. Once the DA heard that, the DA is supposed to have dismissed all charges against the boys. Some of you thinking, well, the trial already started. No, the DA could dismiss charges before the trial, during the trial, or after the trial. The judge has the power to dismiss all charges once the DNA expert stated that none of the DNA found on the female jogger victim belonged to the boys. Let me explain it in another way. You ever got caught in the rain? We all got caught in the rain, you know, a few times. If it's raining and you don't have an umbrella and you're not like under shades and everything, there's no way you're not gonna get wet. If it's raining and I don't have an umbrella, when I come inside the house, you're gonna see that my hair's wet. You're gonna see rain, leftover rain still pouring down my face. If I said to you, you know what, it's raining and I didn't even get wet, you're gonna know that I may be mentally insane, and you're gonna know that maybe you need to check me into a mental hospital, because you can see you know that it's raining outside, you can see the rain pouring down, the leftover rain pouring down my head and my face, and I'm coming to you swearing to you that I didn't get wet. You would know something's wrong. When the DNA expert proved that none of the DNA belonged to the boys, those confessions meant nothing. That told the judge, the courtroom, the jury, and the world that those boys, they lied on themselves. DNA is undisputable. Undisputable facts. The boys lied on themselves, but it wasn't their fault. The police coerced those boys into lying on themselves. You can't blame them. They was 14 or 15. Let me tell you what happened. I know a guy. He graduated high school. He was about 19 or 20 at the time. He was dating a young lady, and she cheated on him. He had the proof that she cheated on him. They had when he broke up with her because she cheated, they hadn't seen each other for months. He ran into her. She began to tell him that, I never cheated on you. I don't care what you think you saw. I didn't cheat on you. And she said it, and she sounded so sincere. He began to believe her. He stated that he began to believe her. So he told her that, you know, maybe we'll hook up later. He went and was with some friends and everything, and then he said that later on that same day, he saw her with another guy, and they was getting romantic. Like maybe he saw them like kissing on a corner. He saw the guy, like maybe when the guy was kissing her, he might have touched her backside, where he knew it was more than just a friendly kiss. And then he flipped on her. After the guy left, he approached her, flipped on her, you know, never to be with her again. But the point I'm making is that she was so convincing. He stated the first time, oh, I never cheated on you. Why did you break up with me? We could have had a great relationship. He stated that he almost was about to go back with her. And this guy was a high school graduate. This guy was about 20 years old. Imagine if the police, who we all, since we were kids, we all was brought up to respect, to admire. They were the good guys. Imagine if the police stated, look, just say this and you can go home. Would you like something to drink? The police, I know how the police get down. I'm sure they were saying things like, don't you got school tomorrow? What's your favorite subject? Well, when I was, I'm sure the police said things like this. Well, when I was in school, I'm not gonna lie, my favorite subject was gym. What days do you go to gym? And depending on what school is, you might have the same schedule every day. So some schools, if you have gym on Monday, you have gym on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. The policeman said, don't you want to go to gym tomorrow? I know you don't want to be here with us. I don't even want to be here. I'd rather be home. I'm sure the police said, don't you want to be home? Don't you want to go to gym tomorrow? Don't you want to have a home cooked meal? As a matter of fact, are you hungry? Well, when this is all over, I'll take you, get you something to eat myself. I know how the police get down. See, you was taught that, or you believe that the police can't lie. No. The filing of a false complaint, it's illegal to file a false complaint, but the police do it all the time. And nobody enforces that law when it comes to police. I'm gonna say it again. When the DNA experts stated and testified in the courtroom that none of the DNA that was found on the jogger belonged to the boys, the case supposed to have been stopped. And everything's supposed to have been dropped, and those boys supposed to have went home. The judge could have did it. The district attorney supposed to have did it. Even the assistant district attorneys supposed to have did that. Even the police could have rallied and said, you know what, I think we made a mistake here. God help us. If the DNA didn't match none of the boys, we've made a terrible mistake here. But nobody cared because these boys were black and brown, black and Latin. And you're talking to a guy who's not, I'm not prejudiced or racist at all. You're talking to a guy who I've dated women all over the spectrum, black, brown. I've even dated white women. So you're not talking to a guy who's a racist. I am pro-black, but I'm pro-black anti-no one, due to the fact that due to our history, we were treated unfair in this country since the slave ships ventured out to West Africa, and you pretty much know the rest. So this has come from a guy who associates with, of course, black people, white people, Asian people. I have a very good friend who just happened to be white, who I spoke to 2 days ago. And I told him that he's one of the nicest guys I've ever met. And I'm only saying that to let you know you're not talking to a guy who's unfair. I believe in complete fairness. But you cannot argue with scientific fact. Once the DNA expert stated that none of the DNA found on the jogger belonged to the boys, the case supposed to have been dismissed. The judge could have threw it out. The district attorney supposed to have threw it out. Even the ADAs, the assistant district attorneys, they could have had it thrown out. Yeah, isn't that something? They all committed a crime against these boys. Yeah, there's a federal law that you cannot violate somebody's civil rights. I know one of the prosecutors was kicked off the board of an organization that she's on. Another wasn't able to teach at Columbia, but they can wind up facing a lot more serious charges, and they know that, and I'm not ashamed to say it. Some people would be ashamed to say this right live, or right on a blog, or right on their video show, but I'm not ashamed to say it, and I'm not afraid to say it. The individual woman who wasn't allowed to teach at Columbia University, I read where she stated that, oh, I really love teaching. It's just so unfortunate. Oh, really? Oh, you know, a situation like that, it can go a lot further. They could be brought up on charges. I know it and they know it. Because unlike the parents of the Central Park Five or the Exonerated Five, I know the law. So can't no judge, can't no police, can't no lawyer just tell me any old thing. Because I know the law. Let's talk about the men now. Yusef. Now, Yusef Salaam, he scares me, and I'm gonna tell you why. Yusef Salaam has been to hell and back. And you see him on the talk shows, you see him on television, you've seen him on social media. He has this, the brother has this beautiful, positive attitude. I mean, he has a glow. He smiles, and his smile lights up a room. That scares me, that someone could go through that much negativity and still have a positive attitude. Some people are scared of people with a gun. Some people are scared of people with a knife. Some people are scared of people who like to fight. Oh, please. What scares me is internal strength. And that's what Yusef have. A lot of people don't have that. Raymond Santana has turned a negative situation into a positive. His clothing line, oh, I'm ordering 2 of his t-shirts myself. My favorite one is a picture of him as a young man right on the t-shirt. That's my favorite. That's a really nice t-shirt. And that's another thing I want to talk to you guys about. There's a lot of jealousy out here. A lot. You'd be surprised. These were some great looking boys. Korey Wise, Antron, Yusef, Kevin, Raymond Santana. You'd be surprised how many police officers may be even jealous of the people that they're interrogating. You'd be surprised. You would be surprised. I know some of y'all think I'm bugging, but that's okay. If you are a good-looking black or Latin man or young man, you have people jealous of you that you don't even know. If God has blessed you with a very handsome appearance, you'd be surprised the jealousy that's out there. Now, this is just my opinion. I believe along with the police framing these young men, they looked at these young men, these good-looking young men, and it was like, they're probably guilty. But anyway, like I said, science is undisputable. And despite the fact that the DNA cleared these boys, they continued to let the trial go on, and all the jury had, people who probably wasn't too astute with DNA themselves, all this jury had was these false confessions. But I'm gonna say it again, the prosecutor, the ADA, the judge, and the police knew that if none of the DNA matched, they knew that these confessions were false. And they didn't do nothing about it. They let these boys go to jail. Can you believe that? Remember I told you I know about police? I'll tell you what some of them probably said. I know how police gets down. You want to ask me any questions about the law, about police, you can email me at talkingwithq@aol.com. The police probably said this when they were convicted. Well, that'll teach them not to be in the park with the wrong guys. Or I know how the police get down. Or the police probably said, well, even if they're innocent of that, they're guilty of something. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Can you believe that hypocrisy? I know how the police get down. Or they tried to justify it by saying, so what, the DNA didn't match. If they confessed, they did something. They was probably there. They did something. They probably didn't do nothing to stop it. Can you believe that? Yeah, that's how they get down. I know how they get down. Yeah, but anyway, yo, big ups to Korey Wise, Yusef Salaam, Antron McCray, Kevin Richardson, and Raymond Santana. I mean, big ups to those brothers. I thank God for them. They will ever be in our history books. And I thank God that they had people looking out for them where they could sue. To add insult to injury, there are people in general, black people in particular, black and Latin people in particular, who have spent time in jail for a crime that they didn't commit, and they just trying to get over it. They don't even know the first steps to go through to sue. That's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah. That's how terrible this thing is. Don't forget what Minister Farrakhan said. Minister Farrakhan said that major corporations are building prison industrial complexes. So they're building prisons. There's not one corporation under the sun that invests money to build something without planning on having occupants. So they're planning on having occupants of people of color, black people and brown people. So you be careful out there, all right? For your own sake, please, for your own sake, learn the law. For your own sake, don't let no one provoke you to do anything wrong, because they are waiting to put you behind bars. All right, if you got a girlfriend, I'm talking to all the young brothers out there. If you got a girlfriend who provokes you, maybe it's time to end that relationship. If you got a husband, to the women who provokes you, maybe it's time to end that relationship. If you have a wife who provokes you, maybe it's time to end the relationship. If you're married, you know, pray about it first. You know what I'm saying? Pray about it first. I know marriage is like a serious situation. You know, don't end it because I said, but pray about it first. Because anybody who provokes you to get angry, where you might want to use some sort of violence or whatever, they're not your friend and they don't care about you. So that's something to think about. New York City, there's a lot of illegal arrest. You know what I'm saying? Especially for misdemeanors. Do you know some cities and states don't even have misdemeanors? They just have felonies. To be perfectly honest, that's all you're supposed to be arrested for. But that's another law that New York City don't enforce. If you're arrested for a misdemeanor, or if someone calls you in and say, well, somebody lodged a complaint against you, come in and let's talk about it. Don't go in. Or you have to come in to answer this complaint. Don't go in. Even if they get a lawyer to call you and say, come in and answer this complaint, don't go in. If they had something on you past your name, they would even call you and say, come in. They'd come get you themselves. They would get a warrant and they'd come get you themselves. And there is no search warrant for a misdemeanor. It has to be a felony. So as you learn the law, you're going to learn all of this. Don't forget, you got any questions about the law, if you can't contact an attorney, if you can't contact a friend who knows the law, you can hit me up by email with talkingwithq@AOL.com. Talkingwithq, the letter Q, at AOL.com. Okay, I graduated high school, I went to college, but I'm not a lawyer. You know what I'm saying? I still take college courses now. I'm not a lawyer, but I learned the law. I learned enough to not to be deceived by dirty police. Okay, police are making arrests just for overtime. For many, many years, they called in New York City, they called it Thirsty Thursdays. That's when the police would make an arrest to get overtime. Some of you didn't know that, did you? Oh yeah. So big ups to my brothers, Yusef Salaam, Kevin Richardson, Korey Wise, Raymond Santana, and Antron McCray. I thank God for their success. I thank God for their blessings. They received a settlement, but we know no settlement could justify all the terrible things that happened to them. So keep them in your prayers. God bless the Exonerated Five. Yeah, so don't forget to watch part 2, because I'm gonna give you a little helpful hints on, you know, how to deal with police and how to deal with certain police officers who you know don't have your best interests at heart. A little bit about the law, like I told you. All right, so please tune in for part 2. Okay, and I want to get mad big ups to Korey Wise. Here's a young man who did 12 to 15 years for, of course, a crime he didn't commit, but just because he went to the precinct to support a friend. You know what I'm saying? Once they had him in the precinct, I guess they talked amongst each other and said, hey, let's charge him with something. You know what I'm saying? So, and they ran the same coercion hold tactics on him as well. So I want to give mad big ups to Korey Wise and just tell him and everybody else, everything that was taken from you, God is still putting back threefold. And my next blog, we're going to talk more about the law and what to expect. All right, you got a new friend in Q. Okay, and also I wanted to tell you, follow your dream. It's never too late to follow your dream. All right, I'm sure Dr. Yusef will tell you that himself. These brothers done went through the mill and they still came home and got college degrees, and Yusef has a PhD. Follow your dream. All right. I'm a union actor. I've done a lot of productions, and I'm still acting now. And I minored in theater when I was in college. I also took a lot of courses, and I got my core curriculum in college out the way. Everybody has a chance to follow their dream. All right. See you on the next blog. This is Talking with Q. I just thank God I got a chance to comment on the Exonerated Five. Okay, guys, I see you all on part 2. God bless. All right, stay up. All right, 100.